Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the weekly review with Sean and Serak. I am Sean Nikita Torres in your ear. And of course, I am joined along with.
And it's your boy Serak the mic. As usual, you can call me whatever you want, but I usually go by Serak. Just for today. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're gonna change it up on everyone again. See, that's your play, man. What's up with that?
I'm trying to find my slogan. I guess like last week I was trying to find my look. Like I'm getting to that point where I'm getting really lazy on haircuts. So I'm trying to the easiest way to look presentable without having to go over and beyond the Call of Duty. I guess you could say that. So I've been growing my mustache out. Now that I think about it, I'm starting to look like my dad in older pictures.
Hey, your peach fuzz beard. And of course, will you go ahead and introduce our guest? Host.
Today we have a special host. She's the queen. I call it. Look, you look like a queen to me. That's what I'm saying. You got a crown. I mean, I thought I was doing something with my with my Laker hat, but you definitely took it.
He thought so.
Yeah. Today's host, Mrs. Now, when I say Mrs., that's MRS, and I just learned today.
Correct.
I just learned today that in my ear when I hear Miss and Mrs., I always thought it was just the same thing, but Mrs. is MRS and Mrs. is MISS. But Miss Florida 2020 is that? I want to be sure it was 2020.
Yes, it is.
Okay, she's still the champ right now. You can't take her bet. And Katrina. Bear with me on the last name. I read it, and I want is it Spagnetti, right? Is that correct?
Spagnoletti.
Spagnoletti.
I knew how to say it, but I was going to let you do it because I knew you were going to mess it up. I was going to enjoy it anyway.
Honestly, I understand. Listen, my name is Serak, and every person I talk to, the first thing that comes out their mouth, oh, like the vodka? No, not at all like the vodka. Not at all like the vodka. It's spelled completely different. I mean, I would be in high school, and I remember they would read my name, and my teacher would be like, yeah, Serak, is she here today? And I'm like, she is not here, but he is here. But thank you for joining us today. We got a great show coming up for you. Katrina, so basically, I know before we started recording there, just to give you a quick, I guess history on our show. We go over trending topics. We love for you, to kind of host with us, chime in, say what you want. We obviously have a ton of questions for you.
Oh yeah,
but
so very many questions.
We'll say that later. So, Sean, yeah, man, I got a couple stories, but I'll let you start off as usual.
All right, so here's the first one. So, what were you doing last night, Queen?
We just call you Queen.
You gotta make
your
sure
husband's not around, is he? He's not gonna get mad if somebody else is calling my Queen.
Mrs. Florida 2020. What were you doing last night? Were you watching TV or were you just relaxing, or what were you doing last night?
I actually was taken out to dinner by another queen, my sash sister. That's what we call them. If you have a sash, you're basically our sash sister. She's in another system, the Misfit system. It's more of a physical competition, physical fitness competition. So she wanted to take me out because she actually purchased my book. No.
I mean, if you take the queen out, it's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
So she took me out to dinner to celebrate not only my win as Mrs. Florida American. She wanted to celebrate my book. I became an author during my reign of being Mrs. Hillsborough. Yes. So she purchased the book and she wanted me to give it to her and celebrate everything that happened.
So what is
that's great.
What was the book about? Just a quick summary.
The book is actually about my platform. And if anyone doesn't understand what a platform is, during your reign as a queen, a beauty queen, you have something that you advocate for. Mine is, and this is an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people, but it needs to be talked about. Mine is, I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. So I decided during this challenging time of COVID that if we were going to stay home, I was going to do something very productive and positive. So I wrote a book on how I healed as a survivor of childhood sexual abuse.
Oh, wow. That's...
As a matter of fact, I have my book right here.
Can we see it?
It is entitled What My Mother Never Knew. And it's basically the process of what I did in order to heal to become the queen that I am today.
Nice. And for our listeners, there will be a link to where you can purchase that book on our YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. As I was
go ahead.
go ahead. Well, as I was saying, I was asking what she was doing last night because apparently last night on Dancing with the Stars, Carol Baskins decided to show up.
I'm sure you've
Do you
seen.
know who Carol Baskins is?
I don't.
You don't know who Carol Baskins is?
We have to.
Wow, this is going to be fun.
Oh man.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
So go ahead, Sean.
There was this what was the documentary? I'm sure you've heard of it. Tiger King documentary.
Okay, I do know who she is. Okay, she's a woman who allegedly they think might have killed her husband.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
she's allegedly been accused of a lot of stuff.
I know, right?
So,
well,
yeah, the show basically there's two, I guess you could say, main characters. I mean, they're real people. So, but Carol Baskins, I mean, she has a tiger sanctuary here in Tampa, actually. Well, right around.
I've actually been to it. It's not bad. It's not bad.
The whole ordeal was she has like a rival, this guy. He calls himself Joe Exotic. And basically, like, they don't like each other. The documentary is kind of one-sided. It kind of makes Carol seems like a bad person just from, what was shown. But anyway, it's been this big ordeal that she, killed her ex-husband or something. I mean, this is bad.
There was a plane. He took off. Her story is there was a plane. He went to Costa Rica. And faked his death, and that's it, and left her, I guess, rich, which is kind of funny. Who leaves somebody rich? If you're going to fake your death, you're going to take your money with you. I'm just saying.
So they since the documentary aired, they I think Hillsborough County actually reopened the investigation for the missing person, and yesterday. And you know how the media is, right? If you're popular, if your name's out there, next thing you know, you go from a documentary.
They want to see you more. They want to see more.
Yeah.
They want to see you everywhere.
Interviews to now Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
So I think before her performance, right, Sean?
What?
So before her performance, so they have commercials in between commercials related to the show.
Before performance, yes.
And there was like a
before
show about the dead guy, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's what happened right before the commercial, right before the show started. The family of the deceased, Don, that was his name. They decided, as stoic as you can possibly imagine, just straight face, they came on and said they were offering $100,000 reward for information that pretty much says she killed her husband. They didn't come out and specifically say it, but they got close enough to say it. To make that impression. And it was just like right before it started. So millions of people saw it because millions of people tuned in just to see Carol Baskins dance, which is wild in its own right. Because she was in a tiger dress. Pink.
Yeah, she's like a big cat advocate. Like she would go on her vlogs and hey cats and kittens is what she'd call like her followers and stuff like that. So I mean it's honestly, I have nothing wrong with that. If you love cats, you love tigers, hey, I'm all for it.
But come on, man. Don't you think there's a little bit of a truth in that documentary? Just a little bit. Oh, come on. They had to get that information somewhere. What do you think? Do you think there's truth in documentaries that are even one-sided?
I think there's a lot of truth in documentaries. I think that I actually know people who have done documentaries. Is basically to tell your side of the story. Right. I saw the documentary. I did see it. I know exactly who she is now. And I just can't understand how someone, just the way that she acted towards, what was his name? Joe
Exotic.
Joe
Exotic. How they had such a very petty rivalry, but then your husband winds up missing. None of it makes any sense. She just seemed a little off to me.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm sure
the
to
impression
a lot of people. But to have her on Dancing with the Stars, come on now.
Yeah, like
I know. They went with Sean Spicer last year, and this year they decided to go with Carol Baskins.
They just
what is wrong with Dancing with the Stars?
They go with
are
controversial
they losing viewership or something. I mean, what's going on? Not before. Before they would go for players, for actors and all that stuff.
But it was a wholesome show. It started off as a wholesome show. And now they're starting to have it as dramatic.
Look at me.
And that's probably why I'm not going to watch it.
It was a mess.
That's always you can tell how shows lose ratings when they start getting desperate like that. You can tell something.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have that luster. And I used to think Dancing with the Stars, for some reason, I thought like the stars were just talented dancers. I was like, wow. I didn't know.
I thought they were dancing
like
that.
Like,
I thought they were dancing. I was like, oh, they're dancing with regular people. Cool, that's awesome. And instead, no, it's just dancers who are dancing with the stars. I'm like, okay, that's just kind of cool.
Katrina, would you ever do Dancing with the Stars?
Of course, I would.
Okay. So if you had to, because you know, they match you up with like some professional dancer or whatever.
Great
but
dancers,
if you could choose, like, what would be like your, I guess, dance genre? You know, there's
what would you want to dance?
Break dancing. There's
I think because my husband constantly tells me I cannot dance, and I agree. I totally. I think I grew up in an era where you just kind of did this,
did it. Yeah.
Instead of all that other, Cabbage Patch, WAP, that type of thing. We just had to be cute on the dance floor and just dance, But nowadays, it's like, I don't understand how you go to the club, do all those moves without like killing somebody,
Yes.
But I also appreciate the dances of the younger generation. I would love to learn how to do that. So then if I go out to an event with my husband, I can kind of, break it down.
Yeah. You gotta be up to speed on like maybe one or two dances. I mean, you don't gotta know everything, but like, what are kids doing these days? Like, all right, let me just do that. I would
love to do that.
I will say this. I do get worried if I go like to a bar or club and somebody's dancing, but everybody has to move out the way. Like, that's when I'm concerned. Like, well, why are we what is he about to do? Why is everybody backing up if one person is dancing? So, it's teachers.
They were doing that back and when I was going to the club too. You have like this whole big group, and then all of a sudden everyone would part like the Red Sea, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, what's about to happen?" And then you see something like, I'm not gonna say a nobody, but someone you don't normally see out in the club. All of a sudden he's like just thrashing it everywhere, and getting sweaty and looking good while he does it, and then he just disappears with nobody.
Wait, have you ever heard of Soul Train? The Soul Train line?
Course.
This has been going on forever. Come on, guys.
Come on, Sean. See, Sean has two left feet. You can't see his feet, but if you could see his feet, they both be pointing in the same direction.
I'm as stiff as a board. I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is.
now, Katrina, like, so I don't know much about, as far as, how do you apply, for Miss Florida, or like what is required as far as judging. But, I just going off of, what you see on TV and what do you think is popular. But do they still do like where they have like talent segments pretty much? Is that a thing still or no?
No, well, not in my system, the Mrs. America system. No. I mean, if they did, you wouldn't see this crown on my head because there's nothing. My biggest talent, my greatest talent, is raising my children. That's as great as it's gonna that's
more impressive than anybody breakdancing. Trust me.
No, they don't have a talent in this one, but I think in Miss America. The girls who aren't married, who are, between the ages of 18 and 20 something, mid 20s, they actually do that. I don't think they do that at Miss USA either, but there are some competitions that actually had that. Ours did not have it, thankfully.
So what do they usually ask you? Like, what are like, the requirements, I guess?
The requirements?
For instance, go ahead.
The requirements are, of course, beauty.
There you go.
Poise, your career. That's huge. Beauty pageants are not all about beauty and wearing a swimsuit. Right. The most difficult part and the most nerve-wracking part, at least to me, because I know some women are nervous when they go out in front of a whole audience in a bathing suit, and we've had children. We're older women. Some of them are young. I think the youngest one in my pageant was 24. Okay. But even at that age, you're not at the beach. You're actually going to be judged, by how you present yourself in a swimsuit. But it's the biggest part of a pageant is interview. And that's something, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand. And it's not the interview on stage. It's the interview before you go on stage, where you go into a room of amazing, successful people, and you have to answer questions. and convince them in 4 to 5 minutes that you are the right person for this job. And everyone is beautiful. Everyone has their makeup done, their hair done. One of my judges was actually the founder of the Village People.
Oh, wow.
He was the cowboy. Us knowing that before we went in, how nervous are you going to be?
Yeah, like, why would they tell you that?
I know, right?
I was like, why would they tell you that?
Little old me is going to convince this guy who's probably seen some of the most beautiful women in the world, some of the most successful people in the world, and I've got to convince him that I'm the right person for him to pick, along with a woman who was a newscaster. One woman was married to the lead singer of Creed, and the other gentleman was a plastic surgeon who is critiquing every bit of your face, your body, and you've got to go in there knowing, how do I do this in 5 minutes?
So, like, are you like, so, like, for instance, have you ever watched like bodybuilding competitions or fitness competitions? Like, they have like a meeting with the judges beforehand, like you said.
That's what I was going to ask. Does most of it happen behind the scenes? So, like, do you know? A lot of the judging happens behind the scenes before you really get on stage.
We have no clue what our director, Jackie Siegel, is telling the judges to choose.
Okay.
We have no clue.
Okay.
So you have to go, but you have to, I tell people you cannot stress out about it. Just go in being you. Every question they're going to ask is about you. You already know it.
Yeah.
So you just have to go in and be your best. And just hopefully you walk out and they go, yeah, this is the person that we need to represent our great state of Florida.
Yeah. Cause people can they can sense like genuine, like truth immediately. If you go in there and you try to, fake like you're somebody else or trying to, make something seem better than it is. I mean, they catch that right off bat. So speaking of that, like, could you, I don't know if you remember, but do you remember some of the questions they asked and what you said?
That'd be fun.
Let us be the judges.
What's some of the good ones? What's some of the ones that were like?
Some of the good ones. I think the first question, and it was just hands down, this was the perfect question. One of the first question was, if you ever wanted a dream job, what would that dream job be, whether you're doing it now or you fantasize about it? Oh my goodness.
What was your answer?
That was perfect for me. Of course, a lot of women will probably think, oh, I would want to be Mrs. Florida. This is my dream job. No, I didn't even think about that. I was genuine. I just became an author. And that was huge for me. I said, number one, that is the greatest question you can ever ask me, because I just became an author a month ago and I wrote a book on my platform, Voices. I got to tell the whole premise of my platform. And then every question thereafter was about my platform. And I wrote a book. So it was very easy for me to be authentic and, of course, passionate about what they were asking me. I did tell them that I was 56 years old, and it's unheard of.
You do not look. Listen, my mom cannot watch this interview. I'm telling you right. Turn off.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. So being 56, they asked me, what makes you different than the other delegates? And I said, of course, you have my resume in front of you. You read that I was 56, and I don't think they read that I was 56. And they were like, whoa, no way. It was just great. It was that shock factor with everything that I had said that really got that energy going in the room. So yeah.
Do you like that question?
How did that make you feel? Yeah. How did that question make you feel?
No, like what I mean by like is like, when people find out when people are surprised by age, do you feel like they judge differently then, versus if they didn't know? Yes,
they do. I honestly feel that. Ever since I had kids in high school or even middle school, and I have all boys. So I would go to the middle school and their friends would be like, oh, is that your mom? So I'm so used to like hearing that. Right. So I'm so humbled by it. It's not like I'm, I'm 56. So yeah, I got it going on. I'm very humbled by the fact that this universe has given me that gift. And I always thought to myself, there's something I need to use this. I need to use this gift, that the fact that I was preserved a little bit more in that I'm into fitness, and I know how to do all this stuff to keep myself youthful, even my energy. It was like, I have to use this for something. And I think the universe guided me to where I am now and sitting in front of you guys. So, but I do know it's a shock factor. And I was so glad I was able to use that, because a lot of women are afraid to tell their age because, you know, they say beauty is in the youth. It's not. It's in everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
It's how you feel.
How
long have you been doing these contests? How long have you
I was 50. I was 53 years old when I first competed for Mrs. Virginia in Virginia, Mrs. Virginia America, and I came in second runner-up my first pageant. And you couldn't tell me I didn't win, because it was just such a great feeling to know that as a woman in her 50s, I was accepted like that. That was just great. And then when I came here at 56, in Florida, the women are gorgeous. I mean, that was like, whoa, how am I going to do this?
It's completely different. Like, it's like a different country, pretty much. I'm coming from Michigan, so from freezing cold to summertime all the time, it's an eye.
Yes, everyone was in shape. Everyone was gorgeous. And not to say Virginia is not a beautiful place, but it's more conservative.
Right.
So you've got a lot of sex appeal here, too. You know,
you can have a little weight.
Wow.
It gets cold. It gets cold in Virginia, so you can have a little bit of weight to you.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's okay.
You know, like the judges, you know, obviously you look amazing for your age. But one thing that a lot of people want to know is, and I get this question a lot because I work out a lot, I go to the gym a lot, but like they always want to know, like, how? What are you doing? What are you doing that I'm not doing type of deal? So, you know, I kind of have an idea of, you know, how it works for you, but for our listeners, like, what do you think, you know, as far as to stay at the level that you're at, you know, mentally, physically, like any secrets at all, or?
There's absolutely no secret at all. I see so many bad diets coming in, and it breaks my heart that people would actually go that route. I wanted a healthy lifestyle. So I did something that never went out of style. I ate well and I exercised. That's it.
Honestly,
that's all you do.
Exactly. I tell people this all the time. It's no secret. It's just
secret.
Do less of the bad stuff you're eating and work out, stay healthy. Like but you know.
Well, I have to correct you on the food part. Okay. You don't have to do less. You just have to do better. Because I can eat as much fruit and as many vegetables as I want to from sun up to sundown. And those, I try to make it very simple. We were put on this earth as human beings. Okay. I'm a Buddhist, but I'm going to come from a Christian standpoint.
Okay.
We were put on this earth, Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve was put on this earth, they created the earth with fruits, vegetables. They even put animals on here. Right. So our bodies were made up to eat those things and our body puts them where they're supposed to go. This is what the universe gave us, and this is what our body knows. We weren't put on the earth to eat potato chips. We were put on earth to eat candy or preservatives. Our body has no clue what to do with them, so it stores as fat. Yeah, it stores as fat. If your body has no idea what to do with the foreign object, it stores fat. If it knows what to do with something that this universe created for us to survive, it knows exactly where to go, and there's no fat left over to keep in your body. And it's that simple.
Are you a vegetarian or vegan?
I am not. I'm not. Okay. I just eat very healthy. There are some days that I won't eat meat, but it's only because of the taste of it. I've been eating so healthy. I changed my palate that I can do without meat. You know, I don't need it. A week before the pageant, my husband and we became fruitarians for a week, and we only ate fruit. And it was the greatest thing. He lost like 5 pounds.
Yeah. Trust me, when you switch that diet, you cut weight like that. It's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on a program. It's not really a diet. It's called the Orange Program, and it basically it takes out everything bad. I mean everything I'm talking about.
What's it called?
It's called the Orange Program. ORNIS. Yes, it's a program. It's actually in Virginia where where I was at. Virginia Beach. I had to go up there for a special cardiac rehab. And it's a specialized cardiac rehab program. And what they do, it incorporates yoga, so body, mind, food. It's a whole, and of course exercise.
Okay.
Which is the body part. But they take out everything. They go from oils to not just sugars and fats, but I mean they want no meat at all. Zero meat. Everything is plant based. They don't even want, you know, how they have those not the bubble burgers, but those new burgers out that
the Impossible burgers.
I love
those. What's the other one? The plant? I forget. They got it's whatever.
Yeah, there's two big ones. There's two big ones, but they didn't even want us to use that.
Yeah.
At the end of all of that, now this is after I just had open heart surgery. So at the end of all that, my recovery was cut by 2 months because I went up there and had that specialized program. The recovery is normally a 6 month to really start feeling somewhat to myself. Right. I went up there, took their program. And I was doing things I wasn't supposed to be able to do months earlier, just because of that specialized program. So it is a very, like you said, exercise, diet. That's really mainly the thing. But you have to have your mind in there too.
Right, and you gotta be careful with, you know, the terminology. Like when you hear words like program or diet, a lot, even though the concept is to, you know, to help you or whatever, you know, most people, I think program. I think it has to end at some point in time, or diet has to end at some point in time. So, you know, try to see it as more of a lifestyle change versus just something you just trying out, like a, you know, a used car or rental or something like that.
Exactly.
But Katrina, I know we kind of briefly went over it. You said, you know, when they asked you about, you know, what would you do? What's your dream job? And to be an author. And I kind of want to just ask a few questions about that. This blows my mind. How do people write books? Like, I can't even get past 2 pages until I hit the end period, and my book is more of a pamphlet than an actual novel. Like, how do you start doing? What's step one?
I think the greatest advice that I got, because I'm a researcher, and but not really through Google. It's more friends. If I see someone on social media and they're an author, I'm going to go after them and say, "Hey, can we sit down and talk?" One of the greatest advice I got through this journey of being an author is write. Just don't worry about whether it sounds good. Don't worry about mistakes. Write what you feel.
Okay.
So that really broke that tension of writer's block, because you want to write a book and you want it to be good. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think, is it going to be good or anything?
Right.
Are we going to have bad? Editing is going to do all that. Okay. So I just started writing. And I just told my stories, and I told how I healed. I told about relationships that I had. I mean, I really put it out there. I really put a lot of energy into telling my story, and that was really difficult. I suffer from ADHD, and my attention span is very, very low.
Yeah,
and not only that, dealing with the trauma of seeing that teenage girl going through what she went through. So there were times I had to get up and walk away, because I was starting to feel depression, and I was starting to feel like, oh, this is too much.
You should do it.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and I just had to step away, write a couple of pages, step away, you know, go do something different, come back after a while, write a couple of other pages. But I can tell you, my biggest supporter, who is my husband and still is, there were days I would go 4 days without writing, and he listened to my story, a couple of pages, those couple of pages we always talk about. And he said, this story needs to be written. So he would notice that I wasn't writing, and he would say, so did you write in your book today? And I would get really mad, because I'm like, I don't want to face this. Why are you loving me? Why are you trying to get me? But I knew in my heart he was right. So that's when I would go back and I would start again. So it's basically, all you have to do is don't put pressure on yourself. Be authentic in what you're going to put down. Worry about editing later. We hired an editor for like $200 on this website. And then we came back, and I have to tell you, I'm very lucky to have a husband who does this for a living. He writes technical proposals, so he understands editing. So he edited the book after the editor did. And then I read the book and changed things. So between all that, but you can hire people to edit your book.
Stuff for you.
Just write. And then go on a website, hire them to do it for a couple of $100. They give it back to you. You go back and read the whole book yourself and see what you want to change. Look at any mistakes that they might have not seen. Right. And then you're publishing a book.
Wow.
You're publishing a book.
Would you ever like, because so lately I've been listening to, a lot of like audiobooks because I'm always on the move. Would you ever, narrate your own book as far as like an audiobook?
I would love to. That's a different journey in itself. Someone had asked me that who's interested in my story. And I said, I don't even know that process yet. So that's my next process. And I don't know if I ever will, to be honest. I don't know if I ever will. Right now, and I'll say that now because it is still difficult to even read it.
Right.
To read it out loud on social media because I read
and then put it out there.
And then I'm sitting here, reading the book on audio, about to cry.
So anyway,
right now, I just don't have it together yet.
All right, this is where we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, I'm like, not yet. I need to get that emotion. I need to talk more and just really kind of become numb to the situation. So I don't think right now that's going to happen. And I am thinking about my next book. So. Well,
I want to read it. I want to get a copy.
What would you
somehow.
think your next book would be about?
Relationships, because I think that's one. That was one of the. This is my fourth marriage.
What we're asking. So, just forgot. You said you. This is marriage number 4. Could you just pick up where you left off? There, you said your next book's gonna be about relationships, and that had to do with it. So, if you would go ahead and continue from there.
I will contribute a lot of my past relationships as unhealthy relationships. I didn't have a healthy mind. There's a lot of things that you kind of, that's morphed inside of your chemical being as if you go through a childhood trauma. And it doesn't have to be childhood sexual abuse. It could be bullying. It could be physical, mental. Even having 2 parents in a home that argue all the time, it affects you as an adult. I had abandonment issues, trust issues. I remember I used to sit in front of the window for hours to wait for my ex-husband to come home. And I remember him telling me one day that I'm not going to come home any faster just because you sit in front of the window. It was just, I was always afraid that he would never come home. He was a great guy too. He still is a great guy. He's my kid's dad. And I did not recognize when we were together how great he was. I really did not. I didn't understand it. He's an amazing father. And I just thought because he wasn't chaotic that he didn't love me. And because you tend to go towards chaotic situations.
Yeah, what you're used to.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what because there's a mechanism when you are a child or go through any trauma, even if you're in a war. There's a mechanism in your brain that just shuts off and you desensitize yourself to normalcy and you want chaos because you're so used to having chaos. You seek that out in relationships. So a lot of these women that are out there with these guys who are, these playboys or whatever. I don't know what they call them nowadays.
I think so.
look at it. You have to sit down and understand these women might have been through a lot of chaos as a child. And that's what they migrate towards. It's not just because he's a bad boy. It's because they want the chaos. They want these guys who don't.
Her dad
treat
was a
them
bad
well.
boy.
Exactly. So I've always been in relationships that I made chaotic. It wasn't them. It was I made them chaotic. And I didn't recognize that I was doing it.
So how do you heal from that or learn from that?
How do you heal? The way that I healed was through fitness, eating right. And that's a surprising thing, but there's a lot of foods out there that will help you with depression, that will help you with your chemical balance. I found my faith as a Buddhist because I'm a Buddhist.
Do you meditate, I assume?
I meditate in a different way than a lot of people do. A lot of people think you have to sit down in silence. There's walking meditation. There's everyday meditations.
Right.
But it just teaches you about other people's actions and how you don't have to react towards that. So I realized a lot of things that when I was unhealthy, that I brought into my relationships as being unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And also therapy. I sought therapy. That was, and I got the right therapist, because you can go to any therapist, but if you don't pair right with that therapist, that person's not going to help you heal.
It could be worse for you than helping you.
Yes, it could
Mental
be.
health
It could be, because I've been through therapy. It's a different therapist,
right?
And I'm just like, this is not the person. But I went through it not because of my abuse. It was my relationships. I wanted to heal my relationships. I had no clue I was broken. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
you find a lot about yourself.
Yeah. And I went there and they said, you can't, they want to see us together, but they wanted to see us separately, because if two unhealthy people are together, you can't have a successful relationship.
Right.
So in those times that I was by myself, I had the opportunity to understand why I'm reacting, or why I feel this person is reacting a certain way towards me. So it really helped me out. But I think the fitness and it's a confidence builder. Right. When you find your confidence, you start to look at the actions that you had earlier, and you're like, whoa, I was never that person. Why did I react to that? Or why was I so, why did I feel like I deserved to be in a relationship that someone was calling you names or just cheating on you? Because I had one of my husbands cheated on me. Mm-hmm. And he cheated on me a lot, and I stayed there.
Oh wow! Well, speaking of confidence, how do you feel about this new age of social media, and how young women are just putting themselves out there just for the likes? And
I think it's tragic. Yeah, I think it's tragic. As a mother of 3 boys, whenever they tell me they're dating someone, I immediately go to
have you met them in person?
Social media, yeah, and I check those girls out. And they better not be in a club dancing on my son.
Oh man, it's getting wild. It's getting to the point where, you don't know what's real, what's fake, and and that's what's great about doing pageant, because you actually have to talk in front of judges, real people. You can't. This is not like a FaceTime. This isn't, you send a video in. No, you have to talk to them. And a lot of people are disconnected from actual. I mean, don't get me wrong. Social media is a form of communication. There's someone on the other end. But, it takes away from, genuine conversation. It's actually a documentary I was watching yesterday on Netflix. I forgot what it's called. Some Social Dilemma is what it's called. And they were saying how, like, a lot of that, stuff from, like, Facebook and Google and Pinterest and all those apps are, like, geared towards your, like, addiction of one of the things they were saying, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab your phone and check your notifications before you use the bathroom, before you, I don't know if you pray, whatever, but before you eat breakfast, then it's an addictive habit, man. That little boop notification, or the little 3 dots that, if you have an iPhone, you get like that pre-text before they text, that gives you like excitement, endorphins are released. And, I just feel like we're getting away from actually meeting people and going out, putting your phone down, talking to somebody, learning something. Well, like, for instance, you go to therapy. Like, I wish therapy, like, it was more, frontline, especially for Black people, especially for Black women, especially for Black men. That's not talked about at all. I can't find one Black guy that I know that has ever been to therapy, ever. Yeah.
Okay, that's not true, because I go to therapy. So
all right. True. So one. All right, now I found 2.
but see, the thing is about mental health, and I'm a huge proponent of mental health. It's a needed thing, but when it comes to the Black community, or any community of color, that we don't go to therapists.
We don't.
And I know so many of my relatives and friends who definitely have mental issues, mental effects, and they need to go see someone, and they will sit there and tell me point blank, I'm not going to have someone talk to me like I don't want to be talked to. Yeah, I'm not going to have someone
but we need to get out of that mentality.
But see, the thing is, though, they want someone else to solve they don't want someone else to solve their problem. They think they can solve everything themselves. And it's not really about solving everything. It's about being able to, It's about being able to cope. It's about being able to deal with whatever your issue is. And a lot of people don't understand that is really what therapy is about. At least that's what I've gotten out of it.
I just think people are uncomfortable. Like, okay, for me, instance, right? Like, I would assume I'm a pretty open person. I don't know. But even like the thought of a therapist, right? Because nobody thinks like there's nothing wrong with anyone. There's nothing wrong with me or with you or anything like that. But a lot of times, like you said, you deal with things that are just in your unconscious that you don't even realize is going on, or you're doing, or habits that you're doing. And we all have friends and family members, but there's that level of comfortability to where like you may not feel comfortable. I probably wouldn't feel comfortable talking to my parents about really, really serious things that affect me. That's just how I am. So like, the therapist route, it's the privacy, like obviously they're not going to tell anybody or anything like that, but it's just,
no, they're not.
You got to get over that hump of being able to just everything you're thinking, just to tell someone else and get their professional perspective to kind of help you. So.
Well, I think, when I went to therapy, because I had those abandonment issues, when I went to therapy, I went for couples therapy and had no clue that I was going to get help for myself. I had no clue. Yeah. I wanted to make sure my relationship worked. I wanted to put everything into it. And I figured if I can't fix it myself, let's go to therapy. And, we were two dysfunctional people in one of my relationships. And that's when I said, okay, wow, this is helping me in other ways. So, and I think everyone should go because it's like talking to your best friend who will never tell another soul. They won't.
How difficult was it for you to really find your therapist here in
like how area? Bad? Well, first of all, how bad did it have to get to where you were like, okay, we need to go see somebody?
I mean, I don't think it really needs to ask to get all that bad. I think you just have to have that point where you need it. I mean. In the military, it wasn't bad when I had to go. They told me I was ordered to go, and then it kind of worked out that way. But anyway, as you were saying.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, when I went to therapy, the one that really helped, how I found, and I put this in the book, I was in a relationship with a white male. He was my husband. He was 60 years old at the time. And I said I was going to find a therapist that understood his mind.
Right.
And so I looked for, and I'm not lying, I looked for a white male who was around his age. Right. And that's who I went to. And it was the best decision I ever made because I had other therapists and they just didn't fit the bill because I was going for my relationship to understand my husband.
Yeah.
Even if I was married to a black man, I probably would have found a black therapist who could understand him because we all want to go to couples therapy knowing we are right.
Right. Let a professional back me up because you ain't listening.
You already know what he's up to. So
I'm the one who called you.
Me.
Right. Yeah, I called you. He didn't call you.
Why are you attacking me?
So that's what I did have a premise of exactly what that person's supposed to look like. And the closest thing to my husband, I was going to go. And it's not Tony. It was another marriage. I was going to go there because I figured, okay, he would know exactly what's going on with this guy. And it was great because he treated me with wellness, with my whole faith. And that was incredible. It was like he was very calm. I answered all of my questions. He didn't have to answer anything for me. I answered everything that he put in front of me. And when you hear yourself answer the question, because it's common sense, what the question is, but you're not doing it, you kind of start looking into yourself going, wait, I said that. I need to practice what I preach. Wait a minute.
Like when you watch an old video of yourself, like, wait, I said that?
Yeah. Like it was phenomenal how he treated me. And I actually have a chapter about him in my book. And he was very, very good. He wanted me to dive into my childhood abuse, and he promised me we would talk about it once and never again. And he kept his promise. But a lot of the things that I spoke about, I kind of understood this is why I was dealing with this. So it did help me leave that relationship.
Yeah, after you finished writing your book, was there do you feel like there was a weight lifted off of yourself once you put it on paper?
No.
I guess you could say.
No, the weight began because I had a responsibility.
Right.
And the weight began. It got heavier and heavier. But I'm able to handle it. You know, I'm able to handle it now. Other women come to me every day and they tell me things that you probably would sit around and just, your mouth would just fall. Like the stories that I hear, and I think to myself, how do therapists do this? How do they listen to these stories every day? I'm that person. I'm not a certified therapist, but I understand.
Right. And that's what, like, kind of I mean, you know, when you think about therapy, like like you said, like, how do they listen to this? And sometimes I think, like, you know, are they listening? Because, you know, are they just muting? You know, so it's, I can imagine just hearing, you know, some of the stuff that, like you said, that they go through every day. And the good thing is, like you said, you have other women that talk to you. One of the great things about a book is, you know, now that, you know, you have plenty of people who can, you know, read your struggles, it helps them open up. You know, it pays it forward pretty much, you know. So it's, even though it's tough for you to look back on it, at the end of the day, it's helping not only yourself and others as well who are dealing with it. Maybe, you know, they'll pursue, you know, things that they've been holding back, you know, their entire life.
Well, I think one of a lot of sentences start off like this when people message me. They say, it's like I'm reading my own story. And I become a safe house for them because now they're talking to someone who gets it. They don't ever have to explain why they didn't tell or what. We know, we feel it. We understand. You know, there's things I cannot describe how I felt. But when you're talking to someone else, you get so empowered by the fact that they understand. Like, it's so safe.
Like,
and you know they're not going to say anything. You know it. You know, it's not like I'm like, okay, I got to go to my girlfriends and tell this crazy story. It's not a crazy story to me. I understand it 100%. Wow. And it feels good. It feels good.
Do you think you kind of held some things back until you got to the right therapist?
Yeah, I didn't even go in depth with my therapist. I think I did one time, and I can't remember because a lot of things, what happens is when you go through a traumatic experience, just like PTSD, you tend to like block out a lot, a lot of information. So I can't tell you the first time, because I'm sure it was traumatic for me, exactly what I said, but I knew I discussed it. Writing the book brought back a lot of those feelings. And even now I can say, I don't know exactly what I wrote at the time, but I got through it. And when I pick up the book, because it's even hard for me to pick up the book and read it. And then when I do, I can only read a couple of pages and put it down. But there's some funny things in the book. My husband, he has a great sense of humor. You know, Sean, and he put some funny stuff in there that you just go, you might look at it and be like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden, what? Oh my goodness, that's so funny. So I didn't want to make it a story where you felt sorry. Right. I wanted to do what I always do. Whenever I talk about it, I want to smile on my face because I overcame. Yeah. And I feel good.
It's your life, you know. You're reading your life.
Yeah, I feel good that I survived that I didn't. You know, a lot of people don't survive things. They go on, they do drugs, they commit suicide, and at 15, that's what I wanted to do, and I tried to commit suicide. Wow. So you look back at those things, and you're like, if I would have done that, I wouldn't have had 3 amazing kids. I wouldn't feel the love out there. Like, I want people to actually understand. Don't take your life, because you're going to come out of this and you're going to be great. You're going to find a great guy. Exactly. You're going to have a beautiful home. You're going to have amazing kids, a grandchild, the love that you give to people. You're not going to go through as much drama as a lot of people, because you understand and recognize the signs of drama. Like, it's such a relief to know that I got through it. You know, it gets sad sometimes, but when I speak to people, there's always a smile on my face because I am so blessed.
Would you let your sons read the book, or have they?
Well, that's what I was gonna
my
say.
oldest son, yes, my eldest son is reading the book now, but they a lot of this stuff I wrote in it, the step-by-step stuff, they didn't know. Okay. But I raised them knowing what happened to me, because I wanted them to be okay if they married someone like that or they dated someone, how to respond, because a lot of men don't understand. There's nothing you can do but say you're sorry, hug that person, and just be there to listen. Don't ever ask questions, because it's hard enough to tell your story, let alone tell it to someone that you always want to look at you as a perfect person.
Right.
And you don't know if that's going to scare them away.
Well, touching back on the pageant, just real quick before we end this.
I got one more question.
One big question.
Okay. Well, go ahead, but I got one more question.
One question I really have is, what do you personally get out of the competitions? Like, what do you get out of it?
I think I'm empowered. And a lot of people don't understand that. You get empowered. You change. Like, I thought at 53 when I competed for Miss Virginia that I was like, yeah, I'm all that, you know. Yeah, I can't grow anymore. Shoot, you know, I was like, oh, you know, just to get it up there, I couldn't wait for bikini. You know, I was like, yeah. And then when I did it, I was like, whoa, I did this. I learned so much. The people you meet, the women you meet are so positive. They're not sitting back talking about people. They're out there in their communities helping. Mm-hmm. It's just a different level that you're like, whoa, I'm learning so much. So you grow a lot. And it didn't stop when I competed for Florida. Same thing. I thought I stopped growing. I didn't. Pageantry helped me write this book. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. And for the rest of my life, I'm going to say, if it was not for pageantry, I don't know if this book would have came out, because I had the opportunity to start healing more through my platform. Right. And it was like, okay, so now I'm not crying anymore. Now I don't feel bad. Now I'm not depressed. Write a book, you know, really show these judges that you are the one that needs to have the crown. Like, it really, definitely. Like, you have to prepare yourself. I went up against some amazing women who were very successful. And I'm like, whoa, I need to get on on the game and do something. If I walk in there an author, that was the greatest thing I did. So if it wasn't for pageantry, I wouldn't have wrote this book.
Wow.
Were any of them, do you have any rivals in the pageant? Like,
no, of course I don't. No.
This is a family. You can't be like,
I would
be sabotaging each other.
I would be lying if I didn't say that, you know, there might have been some ill feelings, because you don't know these people, but when you meet them, and it's more of insecurities, it's all insecurities. And then when you meet them, you're like, whoa, these people are great. So no, I don't have any rivalries. There's no bad blood coming out of this. No, not at all. And I know it, and
you don't got no rivalries, but somebody got a rivalry.
Yeah, some other people. Yeah, that's exactly right, because I don't. But you know, I'm sure in pageant it doesn't work that way, because I've heard stories, and I'm just like, I wish.
So Katrina, this is my question. This is kind of, it's whatever. But Sean told me that you run 4 miles 3 times a week.
Yeah. Okay. I almost killed my dog.
And the reason I asked that, because I need some advice. I actually signed up for my first 5K, which is not long, 5K ever. And I have to run it between yesterday and Friday. The most I've done is a mile in probably the past 10 years, because it's a virtual run. So like, you gotta log your time pretty much. So I'm either gonna do it tomorrow or Thursday, but any advice not to die? Like, that's all I'm asking.
Well, I'm gonna bring my faith up. There's all forms of meditation, and running is one. Whenever I ran, I focused on other things to take my mind off of what was going on in my body, because your body's gonna try to convince you that it's hard. But if you take your mind out, it was such therapy for me. Because I would think about things that happened to me, but I would also think about, what am I going to do next, you know, in my career? How am I going to be better on social media? How do I make my relationship better? That's what you think about. And because when you're working out, they say your breath, it stops pain. It's the same thing with running. Your breath, you have to get that breath that is going to like have you focus on it.
Right.
Focus on your breath. Focus on, motivational things. And I'm going to tell you, you'll get through it. It's really simple after that. If you're going to focus on it's hard, it's going to be hard.
I will throw this in there. They did say you could walk too if you
walk, run. Why are you gonna take the easy way out? Don't take the easy route. Come on, you're young.
Listen, I got a deviated septum.
Don't make me run with you so I can make you look crazy. Don't make the 56-year-old make you look bad.
What we used to do in the Army, man, we used to do the airborne shuffle, and that's how we did our 4 miles, man.
Listen, I would do it after this. I would run it after this.
Legs.
3 miles, right? 5K, about 3 miles. I'll run it after this. I'll let you guys know what my time is. You know, if it's anything over 20 minutes, then you can assume I walked a little bit. But yeah, now I got it. I'm doing it after this.
How fast was your mile, man?
Compared to who?
I mean, I know compared to a watch.
Compared to the average, it's supposed to be what 5 miles, 5 miles, 10 minutes.
If you wanted the Army way, it's 5 miles. And
I think the last time I remember it was like 7-minute mile, right around there. Is that slow?
That's not bad. The quickest mile the quickest mile I saw in the Army while I was active duty was about 4 minutes, and this guy was flying. I mean,
was he in combat or like, you know?
No, he was traded. No, we were training.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's fast.
My fastest mile was. I'm not even gonna lie. My fastest mile it took me like 9 minutes or something like that.
That's not.
But my second mile was 7 minutes. So
you're better than me because I relax and run. I am not trying to beat anybody.
You relax? I can't do it.
I relax. I just go with the flow and just happy that I'm out there doing what I'm doing, and I don't have to go 4 miles. I can go further. Like I pace myself. I can run, but I just do 4 miles because I have a place that I go. So I do 4 miles.
You've mastered it. I got a picture like 4 dogs chasing me in the back of my mind. Like I have to picture something terrible going on behind me for me to run.
It's not the speed. It's the distance. You want to get that distance. You don't worry about the speed unless you're trying to be professional.
Okay. All right, Sean. You ready to get in what the Florida?
Yeah, it's that time. So,
all right. All right, Katrina, this is, as he said, this is our last segment here called What the Florida. Pretty much it's, neither one of us, me or Sean, are Floridians. Well, we're Floridians, but, we come from other states. I've been here about 10 years. Sean, how long have you been here? 6?
No. We'll see. Florida altogether. Yeah, how long have I been there? 5. So,
he's been here. He's been here a while. But basically, unfortunately, we all know that there's always these Florida man stories, and it's been a hashtag forever now. So, don't
say unfortunately, it helps me. So don't say unfortunately.
Okay. Either way, you hear some crazy stories in Florida, and given where we live, it's like I said, it's not a huge surprise. So we played this little game. He tells about 3 stories, basically, and we split Florida up in the 3 sections. We got the north, middle, or central, and south, and we just try to guess, like, where did this story take place, and go from there. Now,
let me tell you how I break it up.
I've won this game a lot, and
you have not won this game a lot. You have not won this game. He's lost so many times. As a matter of fact, when our video posts for next week, that will be the first time he's gotten all 3 right since we've been outside the studio.
Let me ask you this: Is Tampa in Central Florida or South Florida?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's in South, right?
See? Wait. I told you.
Yeah, South, because I'm going south when I go to Virginia. Yeah, it's in South Florida.
I told you. I told you. So I'll give my little spiel. This is my little spiel before we play the game. So, welcome to What the Florida. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. In those 3 questions, you have to decide what part of Florida this happened in. Did it happen in North Florida, Middle Florida, or South Florida? North Florida is Jacksonville to Pensacola, that area. Middle Florida is going to be considered Ocala or Orlando, Gainesville.
Okay.
We threw Tampa in because my co-hosts and others have decided that Tampa should be in Central Florida, which makes absolutely no sense. You have the University of South Florida here.
Okay, then what is Miami called? The University of Southern Florida?
We decided that's Miami. It's named for where it's actually at.
Okay. All right, and then
and everything below I-4 is considered South Florida. So Ready?
All right, I'm ready. I'm born ready. I'll let you go first, and answer the questions need be, because the champ, like, listen, you a champ, I'm a champ. Let's work together.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's get into it. Welcome to What the Florida. First story. Florida man shoots woman with water gun filled with his own urine. A Florida man, yeah, those are the faces that we're looking for right there. That's he's crazy. A Florida man is facing battery charges after he shot a woman with a water gun filled with his own urine. 71-year-old Joel Benjamins approached the woman who was walking her dog. Joel Benjamins. Hey, he's out of those Benjamins now. I guarantee you.
That sounds like some North.
I would have sued her, or I would have sued him. Anyway, who was walking her dog and squirted her several times with the water gun. He later told deputies that he did indeed shoot the woman several times and that he would do it again. That's the first story.
So
second story.
So this is a beef because
This is nasty.
I know, right? Second story. Florida man caught stealing beer says he was just exchanging it for cold ones.
For cold ones? Oh,
for cold beer. Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay, right?
I'm gonna bring my old beer in, just put it. I want the good.
What? Why do they even have the beer not in the cooler? I never understood. I know. That. Like, why is there an option for a warm beer and cold beer? It should always be cold.
I think to make sure that it actually makes it to the person's house, so you don't walk outside the door and immediately pop the top and start drinking.
Is that how they find criminals now? If you have warm beer, then obviously you stole it.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Go figure.
Yeah. Anyway,
we live here now.
Second story. So, a man told deputies he was only exchanging his beer for a colder 12-pack after he was caught stealing at Publix. Okay. According to the county sheriff's office. Dunny Allen Gross, 49, was observed entering the store and placing a 12-pack of Budweiser beer into a black duffel bag. Goss, make sure I say the name right. Goss was then seen walking around the store before exiting through the main doors at Publix with the stolen beer.
Okay.
That's story 2. Publix. Whew.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, I know.
That's like stealing from Chick-fil-A. Like,
yeah.
That's a terrible omen to have.
I don't know. I mean, that goes into this next story because, like, who steals from Publix? And here's another one. Thieving Florida man gets arm stuck in church donation box.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That might be a life sentence. Automatic, right?
Yeah. That's an afterlife sentence. That's not just a life sentence. That's an afterlife
you're still in. Oh, man. I mean, I'm not really huge into religion, but I know what will get you a life sentence real quick. Stealing from a.
Put my hand in his collection plate.
Okay. All right.
So here's the story. Getting caught with your hand in the church plate is mortifying. Getting caught with your arm stuck so deeply in the church drop box that you require medical treatment to stem the bleeding is truly embarrassing. Such is the plight of a beached man.
He was about to give it away. You see that? Yeah. He was about to give it away.
According to the Beach Police Department, Charles Hinckley, who lived and worked at Trinity Episcopal Church, allegedly got his arm stuck in the church drop box when he tried to steal its money to feed a drug habit.
Okay.
So those are the 3 stories. I have an actual special one if you guys want it.
So, Katrina, would you like to go first, or you want me to go?
I already have my mind made up. I'm not confident in it, but I do. Okay. So I'm gonna say
the man with the water gun filled with his own urine.
The water gun.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that's north.
Okay.
The middle one is central, right?
No, we do one at a time. We do one.
You can't say right.
No, I'm saying. Okay, so number 1 is north to me. North.
You say no. All right, Serak.
The water gun, man, that's really close to me. I'm gonna say central.
Damn. All right. It is. It happened in Tampa.
Oh.
Listen, I don't know the guy, but it did sound familiar. Okay, so that's 1-0.
The guy who wanted cold beer. Second story.
The cold beer. Central.
You're gonna say central.
I'm gonna say. Oh, and by the way, you can have. It doesn't all have to be different spots. They can all be in one spot.
Here's a friend.
Oh, hey.
Join in.
Oh, cute. I'm gonna say north.
You're gonna say North on this.
Yeah,
one?
because like the way I see it, like if he came back and returned cold beer, you know, the more north you go, the more polite. So I'm gonna say that's definitely north. Crazy stories the way this is more south, the more crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well, you are both wrong. It happened in South Florida at Vero Beach.
Where's Vero Beach?
It is
never heard of it either.
It's just north of Port St. Lucie and West.
See,
Palm.
I don't get a chance to fact check this information, so I just got to take his word on it.
Yeah.
Hey, we've never heard of Vero Beach. It apparently is a place.
Hey, if you don't fact check, Google is your friend.
Okay, all right. So one and one.
All right,
Christine, you got to get on the board. You got to get on the board.
I don't know Florida. I've only been here a year and a half.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll let it slide then. We'll let it slide.
Oh, man. All right. So the last one, the guy who stole from the church.
I'm gonna say North.
Okay.
You know what? And I'm gonna say North too. I'm gonna go with her answer.
You're both wrong. It happened also in Vero Beach.
Yeah, we're not going there. I'm not going to go there.
We don't even know if this is a place. He can literally just making this place up.
No, that's what I was telling you.
I demand a recount. That's what I was telling
you before we started. I told you the place that these people are going crazy. These people are going crazy in Vero.
I don't know the craziness in Florida. I know like things, but I don't know the craziness going. I stay away from. I'm a pageant girl. We can't get involved with like guys.
Exactly.
Their urine at people. We don't go places like that. We don't drink beer.
Exactly. I'm on your side 100%. I'm on your side 100%. Vero Beach is not even a place. He's made it up, so he made it up so he doesn't give me my prizes.
I have no intention of going to Vero Beach. If I go to Vero Beach, I'm probably going to end up getting arrested. So I'm going to stay far away from that place.
Right next to Never Land. But anyway, Katrina, please let us know, let our audience know what's the best way to find you. We want to read the book. We want to, check out the next pageant. Like, what's you got any hashtags? You got any accounts that we should be mindful of?
Put your cred out there. Put your
plug. Plug it in. That's what they call it now.
Put your cred.
My handle, if I'm saying that right, on Instagram is Mrs. Florida America. American. I think I put 2020, so it's Mrs. _Florida _American 2020. Okay, that's Instagram. That's what I'm on all the time.
Okay.
My social media is Katrina Spagnoletti. There's no Facebook. My Facebook is that. If you put Katrina Spagnoletti, I'm going to come up. I think I'm the only Katrina Spagnoletti in the whole wide world. But my website, since I cater to women over 40, Your New Face of 50. And you can find my book there. There is actually, my book is on there and you can find it there. You can also message me and go straight to the link. So yeah, those are my handles. Those are my social media.
We'll put them down in the description as well.
Okay. And we'll of course we'll have our the show follow you on your Instagram page as well. So our audience will be able to find you on our Instagram page. That way they can follow you there.
Okay.
So with that being said, do you have any last things to
thoughts?
Say, Mrs. Florida 2020?
We're the judges now. So any last thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. Number one, I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. You have a great program, and it was an honor. It really was to co-host the show. This is my first co-host, so this was really nice, and you guys were very, very careful about everything that you spoke about. So you should have.
We want you to be the back-to-back chip.
Yeah, you need to get more beauty queens on here because knowing platforms, and thank you so much for discussing my platform as much as you did. Knowing platforms, I know you have an audience of so many different people. It's going to touch somebody, just like your program is touching someone. So I want to thank you so much for allowing me to come on and discuss my book, my platform, the pageant, and celebrate. Being someone who can be out there and spread that platform and spread the word. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And the honor is, like I said, is all ours. Come back. We want to have you back on, by the way.
Oh, definitely.
So, just let us know when you're free, we'll meet you at in Vero Beach.
Yeah. And I just want to also put out there that you're going
I'm not going there. No.
Yeah. And we also want to put out that you're going for the Mrs. USA.
Yes.
Or Mrs.
American
Mrs.
in
American.
Las Vegas
In Las
in
Vegas.
December. So if you guys want to know what happens, I can come back on and let you know.
We might come and support
definitely,
you.
definitely.
You said in Vegas?
That's a big, that right there, that's a big deal. Because if I win that, I go on to Sri Lanka and I compete for Mrs. World.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yes,
Listen,
Vegas is going to be incredible.
You got this. You got this. You got our support. You got this, Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss
Us
Milky
Florida
Way.
people, we're behind you all the way. Just saying.
Yes.
All right.
So, you have anything to rock?
Nah, I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm just still disappointed about the Florida that I'm pretty sure I won, but we'll let that slide. Anyway,
this has been another. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, thanks for listening. Tune in, everybody. Like I said, we'll have this posted as soon as possible, which probably be next week because we're running a little behind a little bit. But yeah, man, it's a great show. Thanks, Katrina, once again. Thanks for coming out. I am Serak, or Serak the Mike, as far as the Instagram thing, and my co-host.
Yeah, this is Sean the Notorious, and this has been another episode of the Weekly Review with Sean and Serak.
We'll catch you next week.
Thank you for listening. Hey everyone, this is Sean the Notorious,
and it's your boy Serak the Mike.
We just want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us.
Please subscribe, like, share. But if you don't like, obviously, don't do any of that stuff because we don't want no fakes out there. Just kidding.
There's no why you don't like it.
We love the support. Yeah, man, definitely hit that like button, subscribe. We'll see you soon.